This enchanted lullaby.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
This enchanted lullaby. This enchanted lullaby.
You know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Person should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself.
Like it. Let's see here. Okay, so let's get into some. Let's get into Rick's suggestion there. He was talking about. So people think that. Okay. So we are in a time where lineage and lineage of information is not connected like it would be. Okay, where you can literally see, for example. So, for example, let's look at this like in family wise, right? Children, parents, grandparents, great grandparents, great grandparents, and stuff like that, right? In today's family structure, you don't see the full lineage. Okay, there's somebody missing. A lot of times it's the masculine, it's the father, whether it be the father, grandfather, great grandfather, but it's somebody missing throughout all of that. Even if it comes to those people who should have been parents not being parents. Okay, so that means their children are missing, which makes them parents and eventually makes them grandparents. So we are in a time where things are missing. But even though, so that makes it so. Let me back. I won't jump too far. So that makes it so the line of lineage where certain information is taken and you can see the progress of where one will be in time is physically in front of you. So it makes it so that people have a hard time, man, they have a hard time seeing what could be, seeing what they can be, because it's not, it's gone. It's not in front of them. You know what I'm saying? At all. You'd be surprised how powerful it is by just having parents there. Now, I'm not talking about, again, we're not talking about the disruptors. We're not talking about the tweakers. We're not talking about those people. Okay. We're taking all those people outside the door. We're talking about actual parents, mother and father. They're doing what they're supposed to do, taking care of their children, trying to make them as strong as possible and make them and have created positive thought forms within the children. So the children grow up strong. The children meet someone that they resonate with. They continue on that lineage, right? Which makes the parents now grandparents. Those children, and you can see even the teachings of, let's say, the original parents, two parents. You can see the teachings in them within the grandchildren. Okay, it shouldn't be broken. Let me give you all an example of this. When new generations are born, they are even totally different than the parents. Totally different. The parents don't know what the hell is going on with even their children, and that's connected right there. It's directly right in front of them, and that it's not. And of course, that deals with indoctrination, deals with the school system, deals with the EMF, deals with the food, deals with all of that stuff. But when the connection is actually there, Just that by itself. We're not talking about no esoteric stuff. We're not talking about praying to weird gods. We're not talking about playing with blood and all that, the things that the wretched does. We're not talking about none of that. Literally, in just seeing, these are my parents. These are my grandparents. These are my great grandparents. And way up there, those are my great great grandparents who are still alive, right? They may not be left for forever, but they're still there, right? And you can see each level. That does something to the subconscious that cannot even be put into words, right? Think how many people around you see that with. It's not many anymore. And then we wonder why situations are what they are. Okay. So what that does is, this is the positive kind. We get into positivity and stuff now. Here we get into some all of it creates positive because it helps you move better in a more direct way. But these are things that you can do within your space and time. So because that lineage is broken, it leaves people confused. Yes, there are people born who have the sight. They can see, okay? Like myself, right? I was doing what I'm doing now. I'm going to show a video I was doing since I was young. Okay. I don't even know why I was even doing it. Don't get it twisted now. Like I woke up and say, I just know all this purpose. And no, I don't know why I was doing it. Okay. At times I was just so interested in doing what I was doing. I'm talking about at like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old type stuff. Okay. But that's not the norm, especially in these times. So what gives people that direction, which gives people that insight, is the lineage. The lineage gives the insight. The lineage gives the direction. Okay, the lineage gives the purpose. So in a time where that's not there, and it leaves people in a confused state, they're not sure what to do next. Don't cry about it. Don't be so disheartened that you go into despair. You do what you can do within your energetic level. So what do I mean by that? So let's say, for example, the world that we see around us, when we look outside, especially in the northern climates, but it's also in the south, not as deep in the south, but it's there, and you can see of like kind of like it's not as lively. Let's just say it like that, right? I'm trying to look for the right word to really describe how the energy feels and what I see. But let's just say it's not as lively as it was, let's say, in the 90s, for those who are old enough to know that. Or let's say how it was in the 80s, for those who are old enough to know that, or the 70s, right? For those here who are old enough to where they looked around the 70s, like even for example, the sky, you actually seen the real color of the sky. So even just that, the sky was actually its natural color. You could actually see the bluish hue that it is. We don't see that anymore. The sky is it's like a different color now. Okay. So what you can do is do what you tap into I'm trying to make this not difficult. Okay. So let's say, for example, you like flowers. And you like flowers so much that especially when the summertime hits, they call you the flower lady, right? Well, plant flowers everywhere. Because flowers, when people look at flowers, it's like it's beauty, right? Even if they're not into that, right? When people walk past a place, let's say walk past a house and it's all type of pretty flowers around the house, it subconsciously brings a smile to people's faces, right? It's natural beauty is what it does, right? And so what if this person just started to walk around everywhere and start just planting flower seeds everywhere, right? So all around a city, all around a state, it's just random flowers just everywhere popping up. Now, it used to be like that, where no matter where you go and walk away, you'll see People, you used to see flowers everywhere, all different types of stuff, right? Natural beauty just popping up over here, popping up over there, right? You even see, especially the women, maybe picking those flowers and stuff, right? Smelling them and looking at them, stuff like that. And the natural things that tends to happen when people are feeling and acting such a way, right? What if, let's talk about a person who may be into music, right? Actually, you could play whatever instrument, whether it be flute, piano, saxophone, whatever, right? Now, you're not doing these things for self gratification. You're not doing these things so you could be looked at as the one, right? Like a muwa. You're doing these things because it's the proper thing to do. And you are within yourself, not allowing your light that has been lit within you to be shared. And you're not sharing it with people. Will experience it, yes, but this is between you and the creator, between you and source, between you and the earth, right? It's saying like, okay, I may have took all my life because maybe I wasn't in the know. Maybe I didn't have the knowledge, but I know now. And even though I may not be able to, whatever doubts people throw out there, I can do this and I'm really good at it. Right. And so you may go to an area where places you may not even have to even go nowhere that you normally don't go. Like somebody said, well, go into the hood and play the saxophone. No, because they may even make you feel a certain way because you normally don't do that, and you may not be built for that. Okay. But in your daily travels, so where you typically would walk, okay, where your feet land, you create a path of music along your path. And this is what you do, right? Because again, you know how to play music. So this is what you do, like playing music anyway. So that's right up your alley. And when you feel the urge, every once in a while, you just sit there and just play. Right. And so no matter who you are, no matter what you may do, even if you force yourself to plant flowers or something, right? Just throw seeds everywhere you walk, right? You buy thousands of seeds and just be throwing them everywhere, right? So flowers is randomly growing all the places you walk. Flowers are in your wake, right? They're your trail behind you. So you'd be surprised. What if, I don't know, 1% of the population did that? What if 3% of the population did that, right? I'm not talking about half the population. No, what if just a small number of the population just did that? Okay. You'll be surprised the type of changes that happen. The thing about it is people think just hoping for something and just see, most of the time when you see these manifestation things, right? These manifestation type of conversations, they deal with the person taking from the earth. They deal with the person taking from the universe. They deal with the person taking from you, taking from me, so they can manifest. What about instead of you taking, you gave wholeheartedly within your energy, though? You understand what I'm saying? Something that you can actually give. There may not be, again, it's not about other people judging you for what you're giving. Like you may say, well, I do like planting flowers, but I only got one pack of seeds because I can't afford a lot. And so I'm only going to plant a flower, in places that I know it will grow. So it's only every once in a while. So hope nobody don't think bad of me because of that. See, that's the problem right there. Don't worry about what someone else thinks of you. If you're doing something that between you and the creator, between you and source, between you and the earth, or whatever you want to say, right, that's bringing beauty back, how dare anybody even have the audacity to judge you? Do you understand what I'm saying? I do this all the time. I've been doing this since I was literally young, and there's not enough people actually doing any of this at all. I mean, you all have seen faction. Actually, I've been doing this since I was young. Not being told to do it or anything like that. Just doing it. Because I like to see things, right? I mean, don't you like to see beauty? You know what I'm saying? Don't you like to see people, don't you, not even with the people, don't you even like to see just beautiful things, flowers, let's say. Don't you like to see uh, people playing just happy music, whatever it may be? Uh, not goof off stuff, not twerking. Okay, it's kind of interesting. Going back to like the early 90s and 80s, there was no twerking like that at all. That's actually kind of fascinating when you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Some of those things were not around like that. The as far as in the debauchery that we see today. But what if a person just did that? Now we're entering the winter months now, so even all over the U.S., even in the South, is a little bit cooler. So it's a little bit more difficult. Not as many people are out, so a person cannot necessarily spread a certain beauty that they would in more spring, summer, and early fall times. Okay, but you can do it, and literally, humanity is depending on you. Just think about this, right? No matter what level you're at here, let's say, regardless if you're level 1 or level 10, you are awake enough to be here in this conversation. But think about all the people around you, even maybe a close friend or a family member, who they may be doing okay in life, but they are just like a program. Okay. So you're not just doing it, you're also doing things to say for them. Okay. For those who are unawakened. It's not to be mad at them or anything like that. A lot of times, unless they're doing it on purpose. Okay. Unless they're causing problems on purpose. That's a different story. But many people necessarily are in this state of limbo. And in some cases, it's not just because of them. Think about it. They're drinking the same water. They may not have known they shouldn't be drinking this chemical filled water, but they are, and it caused them to be like in a state of limbo, and they having a hard time getting out of it. But what if, because when they walk around, only thing they see is this gray, brutalist architecture. They only see these gray buildings everywhere. Everything's so uninspiring. But then in the middle of nowhere, they just see this row of flowers, the most prettiest flowers, because you are the flower person, right? And so they just see the most prettiest flowers. They're like, what? And let's say they walk a little further and they hear a person playing music, not music for money. They're playing music because this is their expression at that time. So they come across that. And so these things are hitting them. And because of that, they may not wake up right then and there, but maybe a few hours from then, they start having thoughts that they never had before. What if, or a week from now, or a month from now, or a year from then? But that created the spark to create the change. Now, someone say, well, but even if I do what I do today, I'm not seeing necessarily the change right away. That's how it works. It takes time. Even the evils in the world around us did not happen immediately. Even right now, for example, think about it. If evil was at its final form, none of us would be talking right now. Everybody would literally be on their knees. Most of us wouldn't even be around anymore, period. If evil was at its final form, right? Think about it. They're on TV all the time, 24/7, demonizing certain species and subspecies. Okay. They're on TV all the time, uh, bombarding us with this injection nonsense 24/7. They wouldn't be doing any of that if the game was over. People don't know how it really is in communist countries, in Marxist countries. They wouldn't be doing any of that. They're going to be saying certain propaganda, and if you say any a peep different, you're going to be taken away to a gulag. In the story, it's done. It's over with. So especially here in America, it's not like that yet. Okay. So just as they have to play these things 24/7, just like they have to bombard you 24/7, they have to make sure that those who are in limbo, who are carrying out, and those who are programs, literally carrying out the programs and stuff like that, they have to make sure they keep giving them new programs to cause you agitation. So one of your weapons, especially if you do have beauty inside of you, okay? If you're not an ugly person, you're not of the wretched, you're not just trying to use people, especially if you're not that type of person, then what's part of your arsenal is to not be not enclose yourself in despair. That's what they want you to do. Because if you enclose yourself in despair, that means you're not going to share your gift. You know what I'm saying? You see, if they can get you to be in despair, if they can get you to be in fear, then the gift that the Creator has given you to share with the world, or even just to your community, or just your neighbor, or just your friend, or even just yourself, that beauty that you would typically show or would show, now you're not showing. And that means they won. Because that's really what they're trying to do. That's really what it comes down to. They're really trying to have everybody close in on themselves and become like a turtle that's locked in its shell and never sticks its head out again. But when you do stick your head out and you do come out of your shell and you do just do these things, I'm not telling you to go out and just be this part. If you're an introvert, go out and just try to be this extrovert party. But no, do what you do within your space. And is using that flower example as a good example because that's something you could do on your own. You could just walk around quietly and just, plant this little bit here and a little bit there. You get what I'm saying? And so that's but there's many different examples out there, many things people can do that doesn't even cost you much. And even if it's just giving people even encouragement. Someone seems sad or this and that. When a person comes at you now, and these conversations we have deal with facts, deals with spiritual insight and stuff like that, right? But you have those people who would they are as they say Debbie Downers, right? They only want to put their problems on you and stuff like that, right? And talk literally negative, real negative conversations. Not talking about the facts of the reality around us, okay? Which may be negative, but it's talking about the reality. Okay, reality is reality. But those people who just want to put their problems on you, stop that stuff immediately. Say, hey, I get it and I understand. But then give an encouragement. Don't accept the nonsense now. Don't let them just put their problems on you now. Because what they're trying to do is literally do that. They're trying to dump their problems on you. Okay. Stop it and say, I get it. I understand. And maybe give a word of encouragement and then keep it moving. Okay. It doesn't hurt you to give a word of encouragement. Even sometimes it's hard in these times, right? These times people make it really hard to do that. Okay. Whew. You go bald, dealing with these people at times, right? But even though that's the case, don't let it get you down. You're talking to somebody who's been doing it for decades. You're talking to somebody who's been factually actually hosting events, doing all types of stuff all across the country, been doing it since I was young. And I could tell you firsthand how hard it is. I could tell you firsthand how people could be a major headache. But then in all of that, though, I was observing. I was seeing what works. I was seeing what does not work. I was seeing what causes the programs, right? These are people who their consciousness is not there. What causes them to get highly agitated? What causes them to even lash out at you? But what also causes them to sit back into like a state of pondering, where they sit back and just think for a moment. What causes this? What causes that? I've been paying actually, not just, I've been paying, long story short, I've been actually paying attention. Hence why we're here today, right? So with that, the long story short is the reason why you are awake or the awakened is not for self-loathing. It's not for just dancing in front of a camera and saying, I'm the one, look at me. That's not the reason why you have been that you still hold your light, that you still are able to understand conversations of substance like the conversation that we all are having tonight. You're there to share. If the world was before the virus came back up from the catacombs, then the world would be one that most people would share. Okay, that's the reason why, for example, they say there's a term that pretty much in short, people cannot keep secrets. Okay, but especially so I'm doing my hands like the quote thing, especially so-called black people, right? You tell a black person something, they're gonna tell everybody, right? This is a known thing within the black community, right? It's very difficult to keep secrets within the so-called Black community. This is the reason why, too, you don't see people with high melanin content high up in the ranks of the draconian, uh, just the draconian uh, ladder. Let's just call it. Okay, you don't see people of high melanin content there because melanin or so-called Black people, all right, they naturally want to spread information. That comes from the old world, where when one person learns something, which is a bit of the 100th monkey syndrome, what the 100th monkey syndrome deals with, just naturally, a person just learns something, now everybody else around them learns it too, without that person saying anything. But this is a more verbal action, where if one person, let's say the whole world is doing what they're doing, right? And everybody's, everything's sustainable, right? It is technology, but it's sustainable technology. And a person learned how to do something better, how to get more output out of this technology or something like that, right? That person, because they have learned something, they naturally want to tell the next person, which then over time, within a short period of time, it doesn't take long. When you have a society or a world of people who everybody wants to share with each other, then when that type of person shares their what they found out and how to make this thing better, that spreads throughout the entire world. Now, within a short period of time, the entire world now is on this new, better way. This is the reason why when someone tells you something, you have this innate urge. Now, you may have took that out of yourself because of just the reality we're currently in. But if you go back to when you was a child, when someone told you something, for the most part, you want to tell your friends, you want to tell this over here. That's the reason why, because it's an ancient artifact of the previous world where everybody shared. Okay, so even though we can't share necessarily in this current world our personal lives like that, because it's different now, but you can still share your light. Okay, you can still share the creator that's within you and give that expression out into the world. Okay, don't worry about somebody else. Just do you. It's not about the person's expression down the street from you. It's not about the person, even your brother or sister's expression. It's not about your best friend's expression. It's about your expression. No one needs to understand it. No one needs to know why. You are just doing your part and giving your part. So that's it for now concerning that. Right? As I'm sure everyone here totally understood what is being said. But yeah. So, that's just that. So
This enchanted lullaby.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is, and each person should find that truth out for his or herself.
This enchanted lullaby. This enchanted lullaby.
Know what? Global family, look in the mirror. I want you to take a good look. You are the champion, the hero of your story. No matter how much praise you may give some of us who may help you on this journey, it is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
Tony, again, I give you accolades for, I don't even know what to say, for all the efforts, man, that you put in my behalf.
There is no truth until you decide what truth is.
It is you who has to walk it. We are only a catalyst to help you see.
A person should find that truth out for his or herself.
To help you see.
For his or herself.